What's up, everybody? This is RAII
and Whitney.
We are a husband and wife songwriting and performing team from Chicago, Illinois.
So the first song I wrote, I believe I was 11. And I was listening to a lot of Clark Sisters. And it was called God is in Control, or God's in Control.
God, apostrophe S? God's in control.
No, it has to be God is in control.
Okay.
I don't know. I never wrote it out. I know when I sang it, it was God's in control. I didn't say God is. And I want the world to know.
Yeah. It's so funky.
God's in control. That was 3-part harmony right there. And I want the world to know He saved my soul. Then you say, He saved my soul. Ooh, and I want the world to know. And I want the world to know. Harmony right here, here we go. He saved my soul. And I want the world to know. Yeah.
At 11 years old?
Yeah. And I actually performed it live, I believe with my cousin, at a youth night, at a church convention. Never recorded it, just did it live, and there has to be footage of that somewhere.
You was major. You've been major for a long time. I think the first song that I wrote, I remember one of the first songs that I wrote.
Right.
It was called Number One.
The first
Number one. So the chorus goes, I can't believe I wrote this song at 11 years old. The chorus goes, the love we had was real. The love we shared was real. I left, but I should have stayed with you.
Hey.
You were my number one.
What?
At 11 years old. You singing about the
right now.
You singing about the Lord. I was singing about. I feel like the first person I sang that to was it had to be my cousins. It had to be my cousins. And I ended up teaching them the song, so they liked it clearly.
And you know what? I actually let my mom hear it first, and she just naturally started harmonizing with me.
The song that I'm most proud of writing, that is a hard question.
Yeah, I feel like I have a few.
Yeah. I would say one of my favorite songs is actually unreleased. It's called Someone. And it is a beautiful song about finally finding someone that you can love and that can love you.
And it's the same. It's an unreleased song called All My Love. And it's about, it pretty much says you get out what you put in. And that's a tough one. And it's very, people are used to me being more boisterous and strong and loud. And this is like the total opposite of that. So it's deep. The song that I wish I had written, one of the songs I believe is Flaws and All. Flaws and All by Beyonce.
You sing that song very well. You sing it like you wrote it.
That joint takes me.
I think one of the songs that I wish I would have written is If I Ain't Got You. It's such a simple yet deep song.
Yeah.
So shout out to Alicia Keys.
Hey.
I think my songwriting process varies. Sometimes I can get lyrics and then I put a melody to it and then I put music to it. Sometimes I have a melody and I try to find lyrics to fit the melody. Sometimes I make music and then lyrics end up coming as a result of how I'm feeling about the music that I make. So I guess the most creative space for me is when I feel free with no restrictions. That there's no no expectation to write a song, but just the freedom to create and explore and express and release whatever is coming, lyric, music, melody, which, thank God, happens to be how I feel a lot of times in my home. So that works
out. My process varies as well. Recently, I started writing a song to something. I was editing one of our videos, and it was a part where he was like figuring out a piano part for a different song, and I was like, he started doing something different that had nothing to do with the song that he was really supposed to be working on, and I was like, that over here, this is definitely a whole nother song. So I did an audio recording of it, and then I just like went in the room and started singing to it. So sometimes I'll hear things even in his mess ups or figuring it out. I find some gold.
Feel so good.
I find some gold in there and I write to it. Then there are times where I just create. I'll just I'll just hum or sing the melody. I don't really have words yet. And I guess depending on the feeling, sometimes the feeling leads me to what it should talk about, what the song should be about. Sometimes I'll have the feeling of what I want to talk about, and I'm trying to figure out. Sometimes I'll have what I want to talk about, then I'm trying to figure out the feeling and how I actually want to portray it. So it differs. It depends, I guess. I think when I am free emotionally, no, that's not true. Because there are times when I'm not free emotionally, and then I want to write about not necessarily not being free, but working through the emotions or talking about the reality of the emotions. So similar to you, just no pressure of actually creating a song, no pressure of this needs to be done at this date. And I know there's gonna come a time in our lives where we're probably gonna have to be more on a schedule, I guess, to complete music, or maybe not. Like, I think even this time, the fact that we're just creating, maybe we getting stuff in a bag, and then they're gonna ask us for a whole bunch of songs. We're like, we got them, yay! And we had time to do it, and it was no rush, and they're authentic and they're real. That's what I want to happen.
Another part of my songwriting process is you. Because I'll get my song out, or at least what I think it is. Sometimes just a voice note. Sometimes I'll like try to produce it and record a rough draft. But your feedback and your yay or nay, definitely, I mean, that could push a song through or pause the song to be reworked in however way it needs to be reworked. So you are part of my songwriting process.
Ooh, that's a song. So I'm usually in my phone, like audio recording. As soon as I get an idea, I'm just recording it. I'm not trying to make it perfect. I just want to get it out, and it evolves. But I just leave it. Like, if I don't have anything else, I just leave it there. If I do have lyrics, then I'll probably open up a Google Docs and start typing out some lyrics to it.
I use my phone for voice notes for sure. Sometimes it's like at 3:00 in the morning, so I'll go to the bathroom or close the door and like try to sing it not too loud, but then still trying to be on so I can remember what I really was hearing. And then I have a laptop with Logic on there, and I can plug up my keyboards to it and just kind of pluck out notes and sounds and feel the music around the voice note that I did.
So GarageBand was something that I've used before as well with getting out ideas, or I was using that sometimes for getting out the vocal idea as well as the production idea, because they have instruments and stuff on there so that you can produce music as well as record. So I got beats. GarageBand, I got beats.
One of the most beautiful things about co-writing and collaborating is you can merge two stories, two perspectives. And a lot of times, specifically for our situation,
Yeah.
that makes the better song because you have my perspective, you have her perspective, you have a joint perspective that like a compromise or a way that we can kind of agree what the direction is, and it just makes the song more dynamic. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Her even musically, things that she hears, some things that I hear make sense to me and they don't make sense to her, or vice versa. And just to give her the space to share, like, I think that that's cool, but that seems kind of out of place, or me saying it's out of place, but it's out of place for a reason, and let me try to let you understand why this out of place is actually in place. And so all of that just helps us really like think outside of the box, reach outside of like what can
Just
always
ourselves.
come to us naturally.
Yeah, like at one point, before we really became a duo and started writing together, even for ourselves, it was challenging because it's like I feel like I can't just do what I want to do. But the thing is, with you doing what you want to do all the time can kind of limit your artistry. Adding another mind, emotions, perspective into it broadens what you could talk about, broadens the sound of it, broadens the, like you were saying, the dynamics, and it's fun doing that now. It's challenging because, I mean, you want to just give a person an idea and they just love it, and then you just move forward. But I love the beauty in us being honest with each other because it sharpens us in writing and producing and arranging, and you end up getting a project that you just can't get by yourself.
I want to say that my greatest creative influence has been my experience. And when I say that, I mean, like, I realize that I don't go through things just for me to go through them and be cool, like I got through it. I realize that I go through things so that I can get through them and then help other people get through them. So
yeah, I wouldn't even say it's a person that like it's not really a person. I guess it's our experiences because we're really in writing, creating, producing. We're trying to be more of ourselves. We're trying to be authentically us. We're strong believers that there are souls connected to our journey that are waiting for us to be exactly our most healed and whole, grounded selves. So when we're creating, we're not really trying to create like someone else or really trying to grab from something else, but more trying to just, see God for what he wants to write and create through us. Like, God, you've given us the ability to do this. What do the people need to hear?
yeah.
It's not just about writing a hit song. It's like, what's going to be timeless?
Yeah.
What's going to be relevant for years to come?
What's going to be impactful?
What's going to be impactful? What's going to heal? What's going to inspire? What's going to set free? What's going to get people to think? It's our experiences and then prayer.
See, the battle of recording versus performing is a tie for me.
Yeah, there we go.
Like
yes,
okay.
I do like that.
So the recording process is amazing because I get to just put it all out there. What feels right? What sounds good to me? Do I think people will be able to understand it and interpret it? What do I want them to get from it? Like, it's this whole creative expressional, is that a word?
No.
It's this whole creative expression of me pouring out and making it able for people to receive, which is amazing. Like, you're literally creating something from nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Which is beautiful. And then the performing piece is the opportunity for me to convey this in real time to people in that moment, in that space, which is so powerful.
Yeah. Because you don't really know what you're going to get with the live. Like with the recording, you make the decisions and you create what it's going to be. And so people can play that on repeat and learn all the ad-libs, the bass line, the guitar, everything, and they can know this song, this part of the song, like this version of the song. Then live, it's like, this is a song that I created, but in this moment, this is how I want to interpret this bridge.
Yeah.
Right here, right now, like you said, in real time. So it's like, what? You get this other freedom.
Right.
You get a freedom to put something together and present it. Then you get to present it again in how you are right there in that moment, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, even feeding off of the people, whether it's alive or live with people.
Right.
I would say it's both for me too.
I mean, the performance can't be the performance without the recording in a lot of cases. And then the recording gives you a space where the people can get used to the initial way that you wanted to present it. So it's a tie for me. I mean, I love them both.
Yeah. I think my toughest obstacle, it's hard to say because it continues to happen. It's not really a thing of the past. It's something that you and I get through often. And that is giving each other feedback, being honest. Like, I have a song, I'm excited about it, I'm already connected to it in my heart, I think it's gonna be amazing, and I'm sharing it with you, and you think that it's good, but maybe not right now. And it's like, what do you mean not right now? Like, when? It's, you don't know what to expect. And then it's like, based off of their response, based off of his response, it's like, you don't know if you're getting ready to move forward with this right now. And it's like, I want to get these ideas out right now, but then it's like, oh, but we have other things that are priority, and trying to balance being free to create and moving forward with things, but also prioritizing what really needs to get done, or even just, I think this is dope, and I think it could be good, but maybe we should change this part. I'm like, no, but that's the part I really wanted to keep. And then getting into real intense conversation about what we feel should stay or shouldn't stay, and then fighting past that to actually continue the song or continue working on a song that's about love. Every song that we write, we're praying and asking God, what should the people, hear or feel, internalize, think about, and then it's always something that challenges us.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
Then in the creative process, although it's beautiful that we get to create with each other, it's always challenging to create with each other, because we're literally trying to bridge the perspectives about these ideas together to create this package to present to people. It's like, you got to get on the same page first before you can even move forward. And then it's like, are we going to allow ourselves to really just hold on to our own ideas, or are we going to compromise to some degree that doesn't lose the integrity of what we want to say, what we want to present, to give it to these people and move forward, and then have our hearts right, the heart posture right, so that when we are singing that, the frequency is even blessing the people, not just being a good idea, but they feel, the depth of where we are. That's a constant challenge. Every song, every project, period.
I mean,
so we get through it by compromising, and
right.
Obviously we get through it because we got songs.
I think for me, one of the toughest obstacles is comparison, and not necessarily comparing myself to other singers or songwriters or producers, but comparing myself to the work that I've previously done, right? So I feel like sometimes I'm writing a new song. How many other chords are there left in the world? How many other drum patterns can you put to make a song feel authentically itself? Even lyrically, like, I find myself using some of the same lyrics or metaphors sometimes, and my wife had to bring it to my attention, like, this is great, this sounds great, but you said this word in another song. And I'm like, no, I didn't. And then I listened, she sang it to me, and I was like, okay, so I got to change that. So, but with that being said, the beauty of music is that it is always evolving. So there is something else that I can pull from and bring to a song, a track, a vocal, a lyric. And so I overcome the obstacle of comparison by continuing to move forward, by pushing forward, by believing that if there's a song that's coming to me, that it's for somebody beyond just me to hear. And so I have a responsibility to push through and dig deep and find what else and find a metaphor or find a synonym or change up the melody. Like there's so much. Music is definitely one of the most creative arts I think that there is. There's so much versatility in it. So just trusting that God will give me the new, the fresh.
Yeah.
And that I'll like it as much, if not more, than what I've done in the past.
Yeah. One thing I've been really excited about is our music series Cartoons Tuesday. That challenged us in a new way because we were creating songs that we felt that we were creating these 1 minute thought-provoking, encouraging affirmation type songs. So even with that, like you want to make sure that the message is supposed to be what it is, but it's only 1 minute. It's like you don't have time to go through a verse, chorus, verse, and then the bridge, and then something else. This is 1 minute. We're gonna get this out there, but then it changed our perspective, and it's like, well, we don't necessarily need for it to be a typical structure.
Sure.
To say what needs to be said. Actually, it's gonna be simple, and we're gonna keep it at 1 minute on social media so that people can actually repeat this over and over. When you simplify things, it makes it easier for people to digest. And then we also wanted to say things that we wanted people to be able to sing over themselves, speak over themselves. We believe that what we speak has power. So if someone is singing it, then we want them to sing something we feel would not just benefit them, but the atmosphere, their world, you know? So that was exciting because we were literally in the car trying to park and find natural light and doing these arrangements on the spot. So everything that with the creative process for this, it was like what we normally do for a typical structured song times 10, because now it's like we're disagreeing, but we got to get through this because it's 1 minute, and first of all, we ain't even got a car. So the car that we have, we got to get this back. Either it's my mama's car, some auntie's car, a cousin's car, somebody's car, and we don't even have this car to just have time. Like this is a time where it's not that freedom of we can just take our time and create whenever. It's like, okay, we got this car, we need to record this, and we got to record it, and we got to get it right here because we got to give the car back. It has to be 1 minute because that's all Instagram allows. And we got to just fit it in there and just do it. And so then we're like arranging on the spot in the car. I'm like, we already don't have this car forever. Now we're arranging on the spot. Now I got to change what I just learned and do something different. Now it's different being on tour. You get a little more time to you get a little more time in the dressing room to go over it, and then showtime or a week or a day or whatever. But it's like, no, we're doing it right here, right now in the car. Boom, bam, 1 minute. Yeah. So I was excited about that because it challenged us. It challenged us in a cool way. It was intense, but that's what happens. We always push through.
That's a good one. I definitely agree. That's definitely been one of the more exciting creative ventures for us. I'm also gonna say that the looping that we've recently started has been a very exciting creative moment and space because we are trusting that we are enough. Us, our vocals, our ability to make beats and play music and create harmonies with our voices, and that it will still be impactful and dynamic and inspiring and uplifting and entertaining to people who are used to seeing us with a 4-piece band or with more musicians than that and background singers. So
the whole shebang.
And the artists that we've been blessed to work with, major scale productions and LED screens and all that.
That's not even just the people. We've been used to big productions. Yeah. So it's exciting but been challenging for us to be okay with dialing it back, with simplifying it, like you were saying, us being more than enough. 2-man band.
We are working on a few projects. I can't talk about many of them because we don't like to prematurely talk about things that are in the works because we know we get people's hopes up and then
things change.
You gotta explain.
Yeah.
But let's just say we have been diligently working on music for specific seasons.
Yes.
We have been working on music for this season specifically that we're in, where we are trying to create music that we need to hear. Everybody's at home, things are different, people are sick, people are losing people are grieving. And so one of our newest releases is called Get Well Soon.
Yes.
We wrote this song during this crisis, during this pandemic, and we knew that people, all of us, need to hear not even just a passive, oh, get well soon, like hope you feel better. Like it's like a command, like get well soon. If you're grieving, grieve properly and then get well again. If you are sick, you know, people are surviving this pandemic, so we want to encourage them even in their sick bed, even while they're going through the treatments, to get well soon, like to have that repeating in their head versus what the doctors may be telling them or what the news is saying.
And get well soon, like psychologically.
Yeah.
Like this is a challenge psychologically for us for your life to drastically change and to have to hopefully embrace the fact that you're in a new normal right now.
It's all
new. And things may not ever get back the same after this.
The way they were. And, you know, in reality, you shouldn't, I mean, I know there's comfort there, but this is an opportunity for life to change in a good way as well. I know it seems like it's what's happening, but there's a lot of opportunity for things to be started, revamped.
So get well soon, psychologically, emotionally, you know, mentally, just choosing to adapt. And so it's like it's the literal sense of decreeing and declaring get well soon for people that are literally infected, and then all of us that are affected by having either you're a frontliner or the truck drivers that are still driving across country with products that with everybody buying online because you can't go into the stores, or some people are fearful of going to the stores. Get well soon, like even anxiety, fear, doubt, depression, all of that stuff, like trying to decree that over us so that it's not like we're insensitive or that we don't know what's happening. It's like being sensitive, but being sensitive to the moment. It's like I'm sensitive to what's happening, but I'm going to decree and declare this. Get well soon. I know you may not feel strong right now, but take it breath by breath. Take it moment by moment, take your time, but get well, still push through it. Let's still get well soon, because if you are still alive, there's still purpose. There's still more for us to do even after this, because there is going to be an after this. So it's like get well soon, because we don't know how long this is going to last, but let's try to adapt, grieve properly, be sensitive, but be sensitive at the fact that things are changing. And we can come out of this better than we came in it.
I would encourage songwriters to be careful about the music that you're listening to, because you can be very easily and unknowingly influenced by your favorite artists. And it's not a bad thing to be inspired by people, but a lot of times inspiration turns into imitation. And that is only allowing a portion or a version of yourself as a songwriter to be released if it's based on someone else's writing.
A portion.
And not your full self. Wow. So I would limit, I mean, do it in balance, take it or leave it, but I would limit the amount of other music that you listen to. We were told at one point to not listen to anything so that we wouldn't be influenced by people's sounds, because we used to be heavily influenced by artists that we love because we listen to them all the time, and then your records begin to sound like it. And so it sounds good, and you feel like it's dope because it sounds like your favorite artist. But then, who are you? When do you get to explore your creativity as a songwriter, as an artist?
You can latch on to that as identity. It can easily become identity, and you not even realize it, and you become confident in this sound because it's based off of somebody that you love or people love, and so then you not even comparing yourself and wishing you can be them, but you almost are kind of becoming them and not even not realizing it, and you think it's dope because it's something that you've heard before. It's familiar. Now familiarity is a strong thing. Like, you want people to feel familiar. Like, usually people, if they can understand it and if it's familiar, they rocking with it. Sometimes when things are too different, it's hard for people to get into it. But the thing is, it's like, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with what's within you. And we're strong believers that if God created us, his creativity is limitless, and he's both given us something individually as well as collectively. So I get something, he gets something, we put it together. It's both of our perspectives and creativity being put together without any influences of anything else. God has given us something for the people that's connected to our journey. That means that's the same thing for you. There are people that need exactly what you have, how you do it.
Yeah.
So you don't want to listen to so many other influences. Like, I know some people like to listen to music to get their creative juices flowing before a writing process. So they listen to all their favorites or all the greats, and that's cool. But then again, it's like, if you're setting your atmosphere to internalize those frequencies, those arrangements, those melodies right before you get to create, that's what's gonna come out.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
So it's beautiful to admire. It's beautiful to admire people and be inspired by them. But you might want to limit it so that you can just start. It's almost like thinking on your own. It's like letting go of the crutches or taking off the training wheels and start riding a bike, which can be scary.
Definitely.
But it's in there.
And then another advice I would say is, don't be too hard on yourself. Write a song. If it's not the greatest song, that's okay. Write another one, and write another one. And after you write that one, write 3 more. Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of times our perspective of what we think is good or bad is based off of who we are inspired by, or what's famous, or what the world is. What's the top 40? Like that, the way that this world runs, it's like whoever is in mainstream the most, and I guess that's who is the best. That you have so many underground artists that aren't on the award shows, but they're amazing. So it's like, don't be so hard on yourself. You may not be that artist that's on the Grammys every single year, but you have something to say. You have more than something to say. You have more than enough for your tribe, for your people that are for you. So don't be so hard on yourself in comparing yourself to what you think is good or not. Just be authentic in it. Just be honest. Just be as real as you can, and let it ride. Don't try to correct so much. Yeah. See what you come up with when you don't correct yourself so much, and you just add a harmony to it, even if you don't feel like it's dope enough. Just maybe following through with it, and then if you really don't like it, then you can let it go. But don't just, oh, that's bad, I just can't write it, I just don't sound good, it don't sound like this, I just wish. Like, no. Breath by breath.
Okay, so I'm sure that a lot of people will agree to this, that Stevie Wonder is an amazing songwriter. I think his lyricism, his chord progressions, as an artist, as a vocalist, he has influenced generation upon generation upon generation of artists. And there's not much else I can say besides he's a great writer. Like, he can tune into himself and then tune into what the world needs, what people might be going through, or how they're feeling, and then put that to pen and then put a melody to it in a way that transcends culture and age and language. It's quite
I agree.
amazing.
It's inspiring, the fact that he's been doing this since he was a kid.
Right.
And still successful. Like, a lot of people, I mean, obviously we were writing since we were kids. We're not household names yet. The fact that he's still a household name. How old am I? Like, that's major. I feel like on a newer side of things, I would say Jonathan McReynolds. As well as Emily King. Yeah. They're storytellers. I like that. And my husband, he's very poetic. He's very poetic. And yeah. And although I give some pretty hard criticism at times, I love his music. I love his writing. I'm always trying to get him to write, finish something for me. Like, no, you got it. I know you do. I believe in you. I really do. Like, I just don't feel like there's anything he can't do, even though you go through these comparison moments or whatever, comparing yourself to yourself. And I'm just like, you got it. You got it all. I'm just gonna leave that with you. I know you got it. I'm gonna wake back up. You gonna be working on this till 5 a.m. and I'm gonna wake up with a whole new song and I'm gonna love it.